Okay, my makeup is weird. It looks fine like this, but on camera it looks weird. But whatever was. Hello, and yes, it's time for a wrap up because I did not do one in March, April, and now May. And it's not even the end of the month, so I still have some books I'm currently reading. But we're here for a wrap up. Hope you can enjoy it. What's up? I hope you're good. So yes, wrap up, as I just said in the intro, as the title said and the thumbnail said. Here is my laptop with my compile file, so I remember all the books I've read. So let's start with March. Okay, so the first book I read in March is actually The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Back in the days, like 3 months ago, 2 months ago, whatever, I gave it 4 stars. I believe it is more of a 3 stars for me, like thinking about it and not feeling like happy about it. It was overly hyped, and whenever a book is overly hyped, I don't get to enjoy it as much because I expect like the stars and I only get like the clouds or whatever. Yeah, I don't know what to say. Like, I felt for her. I really felt for her, like for Addie at the very beginning of the book, and then I got lost and I lost interest, and not much was actually believable. It was believable but not believable at the same time. I don't know what I would have done if I was her, if it would have been possible to travel a lot more. I don't know. I have no idea because no one remembered her. So every time, like, let's say she bought a ticket and people will be like, no, I don't remember selling you a ticket, so no, you cannot go there, blah, you know what I mean? So it wasn't that easy for her to go from one place to another. But I don't know. I love the writing style. I love the world building. I mean, it's pretty common to, I mean, it's what we have here, pretty much. I needed more. I honestly needed more, so overly hyped as expected, did not enjoy it as much. The next one was The Nightmare Thief. Why? I wasn't expecting to read that one because I was supposed to read The White Starlight, so by the same author. And actually what happened, I don't know what happened. I wanted to read The White Starlight and I started reading the other one. And the cover was the same, so it was an ebook. The cover was the same, etc. for both of them. And I was like, okay, that sounds like a middle grade, but it's supposed to be a YA. And I don't see the wintry setting. I don't see anything in relation with the blurb from The White Starlight. And I was like, what the heck? And then they described the book during a live show, and people actually found the book, and it was actually the same author, just another book, and I don't know what happened, but I gave it 3 stars. But basically it is really interesting, but I started that book expecting something else, so I don't know how I feel about that rating because it's not fair at the same time, but it's fair, whatever. But basically you have different kind of families living on an island, and some have some kind of magic that's in their bloodline kind of thing, and you have that main character whose grandmother and mother and whatever have like a nightmare shop, dream shop or whatever, and you can drink tea in order to have a specific dream or to have a specific nightmare or whatever. And there is something going on, and there is a thief. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I just was not expecting to actually read a middle grade when I started at middle grade, so I feel like the rating is not that fair, but that's how it is. And then The White Starlight, which is the book that we were supposed to read for the Howling Pact, and I actually gave it 3 stars as well because I enjoyed it, but I missed some things. Like, I feel like that book was a bit bland because you have the main character who lost her mother when they were living in Sweden, I believe, and now they are in the States, and she gets to go back to her roots, and there is a bit of magic, and it talks about a bit like of depression of growing up without a mother but having a lovely like father and having a best friend. It's also a lot about teenagers' behavior, which are annoying at some point, but they made sense for me. A bit about the folklore, etc. I really enjoyed it. I just needed a bit more, so 3 stars. Then I've read Mercy 1, Mercy 2. I don't believe I've read Mercy 3. It's a graphic novel very, very short, and it's gore-ish, horror-ish. And if you want, it's about creatures. I cannot say more because it's a graphic novel, it's very short, so I would spoil something. But there is a lady that comes into the city that everyone knows about, if I remember well. Everyone is like honored to get to talk to her, etc. But she's not really what she seems to be. So I really enjoyed it, and I give them, I believe, both 4 stars. Yep. Then I've read Life on Mars by Tracy K. Smith, which are full of poems, so it's not like a regular book, it's like full of poems, etc. I really expected a book full of sci-fi poems because of the cover, because of the title. I was a bit disappointed. I still gave it 4 stars because I really enjoyed it. It didn't feel that contemporary like other, like Honey and Milk. I forgot the title of that poems. It made me so comfortable to read that one, but this one wasn't the case. And yes, there were some kind of allusion to the space and, you know, the stars, meteorites, etc, etc. So you still had some kind of sci-fi into it, but it wasn't like focused sci-fi. So that's why not the 5 stars, and also because poems are not my thing, I would say. Not nowadays poems. Like older poems, they're totally my thing, but contemporary kind of poems, no. But still enjoyed it. And the last one I've read in March is Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. I gave it 3 stars. I wasn't a fan of it. Like, I really was intrigued by Karou, the world, like her presence in both worlds and everything going on. I had so many questions about the teeth, about the wishes, etc, etc. It was a very interesting world building. I love the writing style, but I just feel like that writing style works super fine for like Muse of Nightmares and Strange the Dreamer, but not for this one because it's like urban fantasy. And I feel like that flowery kind of, I don't know, writing style worked fine for Strange Dreamer because it was all like poetry and monsters and, you know, something new and delicate, but like dark at the same time or whatever. Here it did not work for me. So, but still at 3 stars. I still enjoyed that one enough to actually want to pick up the sequel. So yep. And in April I've read only 1 book, and it is Daughter of Smoke and Bone, the sequel to Days of Blood and Starlight, and I gave this one 2 stars. Hear me out. I really had an issue with the villains in that story. I had an issue with the writing style. I felt like nothing was happening and then everything was happening at the end, which usually doesn't bother me, but again, I felt like the writing style did not do the book justice. I really feel like it should have been different, but I love how like the titles kind of match the story. So Daughter of Smoke and Bone, we learned about Karou. Here it's Days of Blood and Starlight. Blood, Starlight. It's not like a happy book. And then the last one is like Dreams of Gods and Monsters. It really matches Karou's set of mind, I would say. So I really love that, and it's very, it's a, like, it is well written. It is a smart book. It is everything you want a book to have, but for me it just did not work. So 2 stars. But yeah, a beloved series, So would I still recommend it? I think I would, to some people, not everyone, because it's not like the typical fantasy kind of book. So yeah. Then moving on to me. Sorry if you can hear my belly, he hungry. So we have We Hunt the Flame by Hafsad Faisal. I DNF'd that book. Nothing wrong with it. I just didn't care about anything that was happening. I didn't care about the characters. So as you can see, my bookmark is still in it. So I read like 250 pages before I stopped. So I stopped on chapter 46. So I still read a lot of it. I decided to DNF it because every time I was like, okay, I have time to read, let's read. I was like, oh no, I don't want to read. And I was like postponing that book to later and later and later. And because of that, I didn't want to read other books. So it almost put me in a reading slump, let's say. And the situation over here, like since March, hasn't been nice already. Never mind. And I was like, no, okay, I'm gonna put it on. Maybe I will pick it up in another time, another year, in a decade, whatever. But nothing wrong with it. And to be honest, I was bored. Like it was okay, but bored. And then something happened 150 pages in, and I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that to happen, but I like it. And then for the next 20-30 pages, I was really intrigued, and then again lost interest. But nothing wrong with that book, just not for me. Ooh, then a book I almost gave 5 stars to, I believe. Not quite a 5 stars. Yep, it is Sight. I was not expecting to love that book that much. I started that book because Story asked me for like some kind of collaboration for a video. I will link her channel down below because that video is gonna come out soon, I guess. And so I read that one and I loved it. And I know a lot of you will say that it is a dystopian. I agree to disagree. I get why it is a dystopian, but for me it is the perfect example of utopia. It is a perfect example why utopia is an utopia and that we will probably never get to that, because even if everything seems to be perfect, there's something that's gonna go wrong. So I get the dystopian kind of part of it, but for me it was more like an utopia because we live in a world where no one is dying anymore. No one is getting sick, no one is getting like older. Yes, they're getting older, but they can go back to their 21st birthday, I believe. You don't feel pain, your arm is broken, it's gonna fix itself because you have something in your body that repairs everything. So it's like nothing is wrong except that as you are living 400 years, you keep having kids because some people are like that. And so some families have like 20, 25 kids. So population, too many people on Earth. So you have the sites who are there to actually control that population and they kill people randomly. They have some stats, they have to follow rules, they have to follow whatever. But yes, they need to keep people to allow everyone to not be hungry anymore, there is no war, you know, to make everything perfect. And obviously there are people who are not that good, that's all I'm gonna say. And there are 2 apprentices who's gonna start their training, etc. And it's really interesting to see that you're getting trained for something you hate, because even if you know that everyone accepts that there are sites here to kill us, to control the population, but no one wants to get killed, obviously, you know what I mean? So it's like you're living your life, you cannot die, but you still could get killed and you still have maybe that fear or whatever. So I get the dystopian part, but it's not like there is some kind of different like populations with like these people having the right to do anything and here they're hungry and whatever. But whatever, that's my own understanding of that genre, but I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. I read it in I read it in 2 sittings, I believe. I really enjoy it. I cannot believe to read the second one. I'm a bit scared about the third one because everyone seems to be like, the third one wasn't that good. But I'm still intrigued and I will definitely continue with the series. And also that's the fact that I really wanted to read Scythe and I really didn't want to read We Hunt the Flame. That made me understand that I had to DNF We Hunt the Flame. Forget. I mean, for now. And then I read An Ember in the Ashes, almost a 5 stars. It was a 4 stars because like all the love interests were annoying to me and there were too many. So I was like a bit bored, that annoyed me, bothered the heck out of me. But I still enjoyed everything in that book. I was not expecting to love it that much. There was always something happening, political, military, and the interactions between the characters. You have like the main character who got her parents killed by like that kind of like not kingdom king whatever, but the people who are ruling everything, and her brother got arrested and he's like in prison and she knows the rebellion group kind of thing, and she's like, okay, can you help me get my brother out of it? And they were like, okay, but you're gonna have to do that and that and that. And so she goes in a dangerous mission and she becomes like a slave for that in that castle neighborhood whatever, with the people having all the powers. And I just love that kind of tropes, like trying to find a family, like trying to fight for something and taking so many risks, you know, still learning about the other side of it and understanding why they're doing it, and the other side understanding why you want to rebel and etc. I really love that, so I cannot wait for the next one. And it is actually for a read-along, so by the time you're gonna see this, the show for this one will be already done, so I will link it down below, and I will link the Twitter so you can join us for the next book. And then there are 2 books I'm in the middle of. So I have this one, The Infinity Files, which I'm reading for the Howling Pack, and Dreams of Gods and Monsters by Laini Taylor, which is to finish the read-along. I am enjoying this one, even if I feel it's a bit... oh, I'm not satisfied by the main character because she's not acting as someone would in real life. She asks questions when she's not supposed to ask questions, and she doesn't ask them when you would expect her to ask them, and she just accepts everything. I don't know, something doesn't make sense, so I'm intrigued. And yeah, so far so good. I've read 12 chapters of it. I don't know when I'm gonna finish it, probably after May, but yeah. And this one I'm gonna have to finish it by Monday, because Monday is actually the live streams. Yes, I use a to-do list for the bookmark. Don't ask me why I have so many bookmarks, but I'm not really enjoying it. So I would say expectations 2 stars. I don't know how it's gonna be, so yeah. I think it's just not a series for me. I have maybe an issue with angels and urban fantasy. I don't think I have read a urban fantasy that I actually loved. I'm trying to think about one, and I cannot say more because this is a 3rd book. But yeah, let's hope I finish it on time and actually enjoy it. I would love for it to be a 3 stars. I don't expect it to be a 4 stars or 5 stars, but at least a 3 stars, that would be nice. But the covers are gorgeous. Yeah, well, so that's it for the wrap up. I hope it's not gonna be that long. We shall see. But yeah, let me know what book you've read recently, what you're planning on reading, what this is the last book you DNF'd. I will be curious about that one, and feel good about DNFing books. It's good to DNF books. You know what you like. It's like no one is forcing you to eat food that you don't like. So why are you forcing yourself to read a book you're not enjoying? No one is forcing you to buy the shoes that you don't like because everyone has them. You know what I mean? So just, it's okay to DNF a book. But yeah, well, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to be a part of the pack. Talk to me in the comment section down below. And as usual, take care, wolves. Bye!